And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Scott Harrison, part of this evening's K-West production of high school baseball. We are today in Weslaco, Texas, and it is going to be the Panthers of Weslaco hosting one of their big rivals, the Harlingen Cardinals. Now, both these teams are 32-6A. That is their district here in Texas baseball. And I do want to explain that we are beginning the second half of the district season this week. So every game is important from here on out. Now, the Weslaco Panthers, they've had a pretty good season. They are 9-5 overall, and they are 5-2 in district. And guess who is leading in the district? Yes, it is Harlingen. They have a perfect district record of 7-0. And so far this season, they are 13-5 overall. So a big matchup again as far as Weslaco wanting to stay in contention for a district title. Now, these teams have met already once this season, a very close game, and it was Harlingen coming away with a 2-1 victory. So again, we're expecting a potentially close game tonight. Now, maybe a surprise to some people in this game who the starting pitcher is tonight for Weslaco, and it's going to be a freshman, a guy we know for hitting some long balls. He's had some home runs this year, and we saw him pitch recently in relief. Stone Gomez is going to be starting tonight, and one of the reasons, well, pitching staff a little banged up right now and maybe needs a little breather, so he's going to get his opportunity. And again, first batter up is going to hit the ball into the gap near center field, and he is going to have a very, very big hit. It's a triple to lead off the ball game for Harlingen, and I'll tell you what, this batter, definitely a talented one. It's a shortstop, Thomas Lissy. He's a junior, but he is already committed to be a Cougar at the University of Houston. You remember them, the ones that got to the Final Four in basketball. Well, they've got a good potential baseball player coming up, and we can see that right now as he leads off with a triple for Harlingen. And now, next, Metaquin is coming up. Jacob Metaquin, number 15, and he is a senior, and he is going to be the pitcher tonight. Again, he wears number 15, and we'll see how he does at the plate. So, first pitch to him is going to be a strike. And again, this, I believe, is Stone's first start of the season. He has been in relief, and that is going to be a wild pitch that will score the first run of the ball game. So Lissy comes in from third on the wild pitch, and it is a 1-1 count. And Harlingen very quickly here in the top of the first. The Cardinal goes up 1-0. Again, talking to one of their assistants before the game, Kevin Ledesma, he was telling me how, you know, maybe not a lot of real stars on this team. Of course, Lissy obviously is a player of note, but again, they've all kind of contributed. And as we mentioned during our pregame comments, some of the games for Harlingen, and looking down their game schedule this year, have been close ones, but obviously they've done well when they had to, and that was a potential wild pitch. Of course, nobody on base, so catcher let it go, and it's going to be a 2-1 count. Wind is definitely blowing. Looked at the wind charts before the game, and it was predicted that the wind right now at this hour, 6 o'clock hour, would be 23 miles an hour. And that is lifted towards center field, and that is going to be a fly out. So Mataquin makes the first out of the ball game, F8, and a nice catch in center field by Aaron Tamez. That will bring up now number 12, the catcher, a junior, Jeremy Cavazos. Again, we appreciate everyone viewing our broadcast tonight on YouTube. This is, again, as we mentioned, a K-West production. I know the K-West staff enjoyed a little Easter break. Hope everybody had a good Easter weekend and is back into the grind of it today. One-0 count, and that is going to be hit sharply into center field for the second hit of the ball game. So Cavazos singles and is on first with one out. And that will bring up a senior, the first baseman, number 19, Angel Ortiz. Angel listed as a first baseman. Some of the players, of course, as we look down the roster, play multiple positions, but Cavasso strictly listed as a catcher. Of course, our starting pitcher tonight also can play second base. When he's not pitching, would be at second base. And even Lissy, who led off the game with a triple, can pitch if necessary. And that will be a pop out to third, so 2 outs. And Gomez, very sharp after a shaky start to the first batter, now has 2 outs and a runner still at first. And again, that was a pop out to the third baseman, Dylan Garcia. So Ethan Cepeda will now come to the plate with 2 outs. Playing third tonight, a junior wearing number 9. Stone gets ready, throws the pitch, and it's going to be a stolen base for Cavazos. Was a called strike, but still a good jump by the runner. And we have a runner in scoring position for the Cardinal with 2 away. Again, if you're just tuning in, they lead 1-0, and we are going to have a designated runner come out. Juan Ailman, listed as an outfielder, and a freshman will come in and now be the designated runner for Cavazos. Cavazos obviously showing some speed for a catcher there with the stolen base. Now gets a break. And the count right now is 1-1 on Cepeda. Harlingen, of course, always pretty good in most sports. Quite a game with Weslaco in football this year. Weslaco losing 13-10. And a pickoff attempt is good, and the runner is picked off at second, and that ends the top of the first. Harlingen over Weslaco 1-0.
Before David Lozano started practicing law, he was a student at Weslaco ISD. He participated in UIL athletics. He was a regional qualifier. He earned college credits through the dual enrollment program. After high school, he attended the University of Texas before graduating from St. Mary's School of Law. Now he helps people in need as an attorney. WISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For David Lozano, Weslaco ISD was the right choice.
Coming up, Chris Caceres will lead off. Number 9, a junior, shortstop. In the background, you may hear our PA announcer. Always does a great job. Always very helpful to me before the games. Orlando Martinez Jr., of course, his father is the groundskeeper here, and you can see on our video the grounds look great. And that is going to bounce in for a hit. So a leadoff single for Weslaco. Chris, the junior shortstop, leads off with a single. So both teams open up with a hit. Alessi, of course, got a triple, came in and scored. Let's see if Weslaco can also be that successful. Stone Gomez, the freshman, quite a hitter, has hit a couple home runs this year. I think one was brought in 3 runs. I believe another one was a solo shot. He will be in to bat. Even though he's pitching, really don't want to take his bat out of the lineup. And the first pitch is a ball. As we mentioned earlier, these teams met earlier, and Harlingen won 2-1. Close game. And that ball is going to be popped up towards second base, but then the right fielder comes in and grabs it. So 1 out. Pop out for Gomez. Aaron Tamez now in, the center fielder. Where's number 15, a senior? Runner leading off of first. Again, 1 out, 1-0. Harlingen leads. Windy night. You can see the flags blowing. That's going to be popped up, and that's a long shot back to the right field wall. And that is going to at least advance the runner to third. It's a double. It's a double for Thomas. Nice job. So Thomas, with a double, puts runners in scoring position. Just one out. A single could give Weslaco the lead. A senior now up to bat. Number 24, Izzy DeLeon. Weslaco involved in a 2-1 game. The last time they played, they were on the road last week, Brownsville Rivera, and they won 2-1. And a single could put them up 2-1 right now. Called strike. A lot of fans gathered here tonight for both teams. We appreciate everyone here in the Rio Grande Valley supporting high school baseball. Third baseman playing in, so is the first baseman. And that ball is going to land in left field, and that will be a single scoring 2 runs. So big clutch hit for Izzy DeLeon. Gets a pair of RBIs. And now the Panthers are ahead 2-1. So already as many runs have been scored in the first inning of this second meeting between Harlingen and Weslaco as was in the entire meeting earlier this season. Ryan Everett, designated hitter. Number 18, a freshman. He's got power. We've seen that. That's going to be a foul ball. Wind played tricks on it, and the first baseman could not grab it in foul territory. Angel Ortiz, there's a lot of space between the foul line and the fence. And the first baseman again got a little twisted around and couldn't quite get it, which of course is a break for Weslaco. Count 0-1. Runner at first. Just one out. We talked before the game with the head coach of Weslaco, Eddie Cerna, and even though Stone is the starter tonight, maybe a little bit unusual to a lot of fans, but kind of resting up some of his pitchers. They said they're a little banged up, but everybody is eligible to go tonight. So if Weslaco needs anybody, they are ready to go. Some of the guys that have started other games, Vince Cavazos, he can go. Alex Castillo, winner of the last game, he can go. Just we'll have to wait and see. Of course, other members on the squad can pitch. I think they have 10 people listed as possible pitchers on the roster. Stolen base attempt is good. Stolen base. Izzy DeLeon. So runner in scoring position now with one out. Again, Everett at bat. Count is 3-1. Dylan Garcia, the third baseman, would be next. In high school baseball, 2 umpires, one behind the plate, one working the bases. That's a strike. No, actually a ball, okay. So it is going to be Everett moving to first base. Runner at second. Dylan Garcia up, senior third baseman. Has an opportunity to increase this lead. Dylan listed as an infielder on the roster. And actually, my apologies, actually a sophomore, so sophomore playing. I thought he was one of the younger players. A lot of good young players on this lineup, in this lineup. We've seen at times the middle of the lineup being Stone Gomez, Ryan Everett, and Dylan Garcia, and not one of them is older than a sophomore. As I was talking to Coach Cerna before the game, I mentioned some really good youth, good mixture of youth and veteran leadership on this lineup. 0-2 though the count right now. And that ball will be tapped into center field, past second base. Runner is going to attempt to score, and the throw will be cut off by the pitcher. So Garcia with an RBI single. Everett will advance to second. And Izzy DeLeon, who got a hit that scored a couple runners, scores. So Dylan Garcia at first base with an RBI single. Again, runner at second. Still just one out. Troy Rodriguez is now up. A senior. One of those guys who could also pitch if necessary. Tonight, though, playing the infield. 1-0 the count. So 3-1 is the score. Again, now more runs have been scored in this game between Weslaco and Harlingen in the first inning than in all of the last game when these two met, when Harlingen won 2-1. 1-1 the count. Weslaco trying to get off to a big start for the second half of the season. That ball is low, 2-1. Nathaniel Perez, the catcher, next scheduled batter. Both batters leading off, or both runners, I should say, leading off. And 3-1 the count. Remember, Dylan Garcia had 3 balls when he got that clutch hit. So at least some control problems so far for Harlingen here in the first inning. Called strike, 3-2. Already 4 hits for Weslaco in the first. 3 runs in. And that is going to be a hit to the shortstop. Hot shot, and the bags are loaded. And Orlando helps him with scoring calls. I would say that was hardly hit. I would say that would be a single. So we'll call that a single for now. It was a hot shot, tough for the shortstop to handle. Conference at the mound. Nathaniel Perez, catcher, coming to the plate. A junior, wears number 23. Still only 1 out. Bases loaded. Remember, Harlingen has not lost in district yet, although they have had some close games. That's going to be a called strike. Hits the outside corner. Another warm day. Looks like for the next week, temperatures are probably going to get up at least near 90. I think one day I saw a temperature later this week of 102, the predicted high. And that ball is going to be singled into right field. 1 run is in, 2 runs are in, and we'll see a runner going to third. So Nathaniel has a single that gets in 2 runners, 2 RBIs for him. And still runners at first and third. Everett and Garcia will score on the single to right field. And a pinch runner will come in. Josh Burkett is up We'll try to catch who the pinch runner is when we get an opportunity. Can't see the number from over here. Okay, so we appreciate it. Orlando tells us that Devin Fuentes, listed as a sophomore catcher, comes in and will be the runner for Perez. Again, 2 RBIs on that single. And now the runner will go to second. We'll call it a stolen base for now, but that might have been catcher indifference. Didn't want an opportunity for a possibility of a double steal and the runner coming in for third. But for now, we'll give Mr. Fuentes a stolen base. And we have Rodriguez at third. Count is 1-1. Of course, Burkett, good player. I believe his brother also on the roster, playing baseball. Little conference right now. Again, count 1-1. Called strike 1-2. So the bats have come to life in the first inning so far for Weslaco. Still just 1 out, 5 runs in already. And that ball will be lifted foul down to first base. No opportunity for a play. Josh and Jake Burkett, both on this team. Both can play outfield. Jake can also pitch. And that is a swinging strike, some high heat, and that is going to be a strikeout. First strikeout of the game. And Weslaco has gone through the order. Of course, Isaac Rodriguez is not batting, but will be playing second base tonight. A junior wearing number 14. Isaac Rodriguez. Now back to the top of the order. Chris Caceres, who started everything off with a single. Obviously later scored. Seeing if he can get his second hit of the inning with 2 outs. Runners in scoring position at second and third. That ball hit him. So he will go to first, and the bags are jammed. First batter hit by a pitch. Now the 11th batter of the inning coming up for Weslaco. And this is the starting pitcher, Stone Gomez. Popped out his first time. I know they talk about a lot of times in baseball, a long inning can affect the pitcher. I don't know. A young, enthusiastic pitcher like this, getting a chance, make his first start. Not sure this long inning would have much of an effect on him. We'll have to wait and see, obviously. Just a freshman. Very experienced, though. We've talked about his hitting. Very capable of hitting a grand slam here. He's already got 2 home runs this year. One was for 3 runs. That's outside, remember. Nowhere to place him. You got to throw to him. With his hitting ability, you might want to pitch around him somehow, but there's nowhere to put him. 1-0 the count. Jacob Metaquin, the starting pitcher, been a tough half inning for him so far. That's ball 2. A real dilemma. With Shane's hitting ability, you don't want to throw him anything too good. But, again, with the bags jammed, nowhere to put him. And that's ball 3. One more, and we're going to have another run come in. Already, Weslaco up 5-1. But a long way to go. We all know how good Harlingen is. Down the middle. Can't blame Stone for taking. 3-1. Many times you see batters take on 3-0. This time we'll swing. Pops up. Catcher trying to go back for it. And it will be just out of his reach, right by the fence, the protective fence. So full count at 3-2. 2 outs, everybody will be moving. One of the more exciting pitches in baseball. A full count and the bag's loaded. Runners get going and they'll wait. And it's going to be a walk. A walk. So another run comes in. Aaron Tomez now up. Gomez again walks. Tomez had a double. And I believe Abel Novato may be coming in as a pinch runner for Stone. Obviously, since he's pitching, you want to give him some rest. Rodriguez, by the way, Troy Rodriguez came in to score on the walk. Tomez. Foul ball. Tomez, 12th batter of the inning here in the first. We'll see, especially in an important district game like this, how long they'll go with Mariquin tonight. And that ball, foul. So it's 0-2. Mariquin does have a strikeout. Struck out Burkett. And that ball fouled away. So nice job by Tomez trying to stay alive. Also will up the pitch count of Jacob. Got a little bit of a cloud covering now. The sun is still up there, but is pretty much covered by the clouds, so the sun will no longer, I don't think, be too much of a factor. It is now starting to shine a little bit outside the clouds, but we'll see if it has any more effect on fielding. And that is going to be a strikeout. And finally, the inning comes to an end for Weslaco, but get off to a big start. 6 runs in the bottom of the first. And it is the Panthers over the Harlingen Cardinals after 6-1.
Before Dania Pulido became an attorney, she was a student at Weslaco ISD. She was a member of the National Honor Society and a cheerleader. She earned her degree from St. Mary's University, then graduated from St. Mary's University School of Law. Now she is Dania Pulido, attorney at law for Texas Legal Services Center in Austin. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Dania Pulido, Weslaco ISD was the right choice.
So the second's underway, and Gomez will start off throwing a ball. And it's Ethan Cepeda, the third baseman, who's at bat. He wears number 9. He's a junior. Also listed as a pitcher. Again, there are a number of pitchers listed on the Cardinal roster. Count is 2-0. I think they have at least 8 players listed as pitchers on their roster, so if they feel they need to make a substitution, there are people there that could do it. 2-1 now the count. And that is low, 3-1. Of course, Thomas Lessie led off the first with a triple. A triple for the Cardinals and wound up scoring their only run so far. Called strike, 3-2. So let's see what Stone comes up with the full count. And that is going to be a ball. I think Stone jumps up and down on the mound. I think he may have thought it hit the corner, but did not get the call. And so once again, just like in the first inning, Harlingen leads off the inning with a base runner. This time, though, only at first instead of at third. Hunter Rodriguez is now up, number 10. A junior, listed as an outfielder and a pitcher. Playing left field tonight. And that ball is low. Runner takes off and will easily steal second. So Cepeda gets down to second. And I believe that is the first stolen base of the night for the Cardinals. We've already seen stolen bases by the Panthers in the first. And it is a 1-0 count. Hits the corner, 1-1, called strike. Second baseman and shortstop moving over toward the base runner who's leading off. Now we'll move back. And that ball is gotten by the second baseman. Gets down to first. And that is going to be the first out, although the runner will move down to third. But Rodriguez grounds out. 4-3, second to first. First out of the inning. Montalogo is up. Ricardo Montalogo, the designated hitter. A nice job, by the way, for Isaac Rodriguez, just playing the field tonight. And that was a tough play because he was moving back and forth trying to keep the runner on second, not getting a big lead off. But had the presence of mind to get back where he was needed to get the grounder and throw the runner out at first. 1-0 the count. Ricardo, a junior listed as an outfielder and a pitcher. Again, playing designated hitter tonight. Called strike, 1-1. So big batter. You don't want, if you're a Weslaco fan, to see the Cardinal chip away at the lead by getting a run in via a ground ball or a sacrifice fly. That's a ball low, 2-1. Obviously, if you're a Weslaco fan, you'd like to see Stone get his first strikeout of the night. Let's see if he challenges the batter this time. He does, and it's a called strike. Nice pitch, 2-2. You hear applause in the background, possibly. Fans encouraging Stone. That ball outside, 3-2 the count. Stone listed on the roster as Jesse, but everybody calls him Stone, not Jesse, so We will too. Again, big pitch here. Steps off the mound for a moment. And that ball is going to be tapped to short. Runner will score. Let's see if they can get the runner at first. And they do. So a grounder will score a run, but also get a second out. So Montelogo will get an RBI on the out. And Cepeda will score. It is now 6-2. The last out, of course, was 6-3, and Gabriel Gonzalez gets hit by the pitch. And now we have a runner at first, with 2 outs. Gonzalez, by the way, an outfielder, wears number 8, a senior. That'll bring up number 7, Ruben Garcia. By the way, Gonzalez playing right field tonight. Garcia playing center field. Again, Garcia senior. So runner on first, 2 outs. Harlingen has scored 1 run in each the first and second inning, trying to chip away at that lead that Weslaco got when they exploded for 6 in the first. Throw back to first. First baseman holding the runner on. Awaiting the first pitch to the batter, and the ball will get away from the catcher, but it would have been a stolen base, I believe, no matter what. So we'll give Gonzalez a stolen base, and the count is 1-0 on Garcia. We can see why Troy Rodriguez was trying to really hold that runner on. Definitely showed some speed on the base paths, getting down to second. You hear people in the background saying, "Go Panthers." Nice contingent also here tonight supporting the Cards. Strike 1. I was talking before the game with Coach Cerna about how the Stanford Cardinal, the ladies team, won the NCAA tournament, and he reminded me that they were named after a color. Stanford's nickname was named after a color, not the bird. That's why they're known as the Stanford Cardinal, not the Cardinals. Of course, we see on some of the uniforms of Harlingen the cardinal bird, just like the St. Louis Cardinals or Arizona Cardinals. Of course, the Arizona Cardinals in football were once the St. Louis Cardinals. If you go back to 1959, they actually were in Chicago from like 1920 to 1959 and were the Chicago Cardinals. And that is going to be a swing and a miss. And we see Stone Gomez get his first strikeout of the game to end the top of the second. So we played an inning and a half, and it is Weslaco 6-2 is Weslaco leading Harlingen. And so far, Stone Gomez has thrown 30 pitches.
Before Christine McCleary was a physical therapist, she was an honor student at Weslaco ISD, played sports, and was a cheerleader. She graduated from Ohio State University, then physical therapy school at Texas State University. Now she is Dr. Christine McCleary at Triumph Therapy and part of the clinical faculty at UTRGV School of Medicine. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Christine McCleary, WISD was the right choice.
So we're going to go to the bottom of the second. And Izzy DeLeon will be up. Remember, he had a single that scored 2 runs. He's already got two RBIs in this game. Right fielder wears 24. And he is going to pop foul the first pitch. So we saw in the first inning Jacob Marquin throw 40 pitches. And in 2 innings, Stone Gomez, as a comparison, has only thrown 30. That is a ball 1. By the way, we thank Frank Ennis for his good work tonight, as usual, running the scoreboard, keeping us up to date with what is happening as far as the pitch counts, balls and strikes up there, and the runs scored. And that's going to be 1 and 2. Again, Weslaco sent 12 batters to the plate in the first inning. Count even to 2 and 2. Big inning. Though I think only one of the runners got on via a walk. And that would be our next batter coming up, Ryan Everett. They had like 6 hits in that first inning. So full count, 3 and 2. We'll see if Marquin is about to issue his second walk of the night. And that is going to be singled up the middle. Nice shot up the middle. So DeLeon has his second single of the night. And does a nice job leading off the second inning. Ryan Everett, who walked and later scored, is up, the designated hitter. Remember, just a freshman, but got some power. Ball in the dirt. Runner, though, not of the mind to try to advance. 1-0 the count. As we look over, we see that tonight the Lady Panthers are playing softball too. We'll see if we can get a score later maybe. And that is a wild pitch. Runner DeLeon advances to second. So one of those nights where both teams are playing. And obviously we wish the Lady Panthers and Maya Rodriguez next door the best of luck in their softball game. Done several of their games this year, always enjoyed it. Coach Rodriguez, always very helpful. Called strike, 2-1 the count. Everett, in a game I recently did, hit a ball down the left field line, just foul. I believe it looked like it went over that 320 marker over there in the left corner, but again, foul. Hard hit, though, that time. 3-1 the count. Remember, Everett walked his last time up. 6-2 the score. Weslaco leading. And that is going to be a walk. So runners now at first and second with no outs. And Dylan Garcia, who got a single and got an RBI last time up, will come up for the second time tonight. And there's going to be a conference at the mound. We mentioned there's like 8 or 9 players listed as pitchers on the Harlingen roster. We'll see if it's time for a pitching change. Just guessing, I would assume that Mr. Marquin is approaching 50 pitches in this game so far. And because of that, we'll have to see if there's going to be a change, and I believe there will be. So let's get back here. We got runners on first and second with nobody out. And Dylan Garcia at the plate. Big swing. Swinging for the fences. But that's going to be strike one. So if you're a Cardinals fan, Ethan Cepeda off to a good start, at least after one pitch. And that is going to be fouled back. Catcher has a play and can't get it. Try to reach up for it, but it's tough when you see the fence coming toward you as you're running back, so not trying to make an excuse, but again, it's easy to make judgment calls when you're sitting up here. So again, righty on the mound, by the way. One and two that time. When you're playing Harlingen, you can't get enough runs. They're competitive in every sport, as we mentioned earlier. 2-2 the count. Of course, football stadium also, we can see it from here, and a lot of times they have soccer games going on, but not tonight. And that ball hit sharply to short. Shortstop tries to get the force at second and does. Nice recovery. Handcuffed the shortstop for a second, but had the presence of mind to throw over to second and get the force out. So we give credit that time to a nice job by Thomas Lisi. Of course, he's going to the University of Houston. We know about his hitting ability. Now we see some of his fielding ability. And again, runners at first and third. One out. Everett on the force out. 6-4, short to second. Garcia at first on the fielder's choice, and Troy Rodriguez at bat. 0-1 the count. Singled his first time up and later scored. The senior wearing number 30. Runner being held at first. So remember, when we saw that happen earlier, where a ground ball scored a Harlingen run, possibly a ground ball or a fly ball could bring in a Weslaco run. You're talking about Lisi going to the University of Houston. Remember, he's just a junior, already committed there, so never know what he could do in college. 1-1 the count. Ball hits the corner, 1-2. Not overpowering stuff, but Some good finesse there. Nibbling at the corners of the strike zone. Throw to first. Keeping the runner close. No let up of the wind. Still looks like it's over 20 miles an hour out there. Big swing and a strikeout. So second out of the inning as Rodriguez strikes out. And now Nathaniel Perez will come up, the catcher. Where's number 23, a junior, and last time singled in 2 runs. So he has 2 RBIs tonight. Also, Izzy DeLeon has a couple RBIs on a single. So 4 of the 6 RBIs tonight are by Perez and DeLeon for Weslaco. Big swing. Strike 1. Game scheduled for 7 innings. Remember we said last time 2-1 Harlingen defeated Weslaco at Harlingen, but a lot more runs tonight. One and one the count. Regular season is scheduled to end for high school baseball at the end of April, but then, of course, you get into the playoffs. And that's going to be tapped to second. Second baseman obstructed for a minute by the runner, but is able to get it down to first for the out and retire the side. No damage done in this inning for Weslaco. We've played 2 complete. It's Weslaco leading Harlingen 6-2.
Before Harlan Block raised the flag over Iwo Jima, he was a student at Weslaco ISD. There he played for the Panthers, won a championship, and learned some of the leadership skills he and 7 other students used while serving in the Marines. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prominent graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For war hero Harlan Block, Weslaco ISD was the right choice.
So the Cardinals see if they can keep nibbling away. They've got a run in each of the first 2 innings. 1 run in each of the first 2 innings, but still, again, 4-run lead for Weslaco, 6-2. So here we head into the 3rd. And we are back to the top of the order. Thomas Lissy, remember, he tripled and scored the only run in the 1st inning eventually. We mentioned he's going to be a future Cougar going to the University of Houston, is committed there. And by the way, we do want to give credit to Quinton Alvarez. He is playing second base tonight, not batting, but playing in the field. And Lissy will foul that one off, so it's 0-2. Lissy looks to be a tall, slender player. I don't have his exact weight or height, but showed some abilities on the field. And obviously with a triple, threw that pitch away, seeing if he would go after a bad one. Did not. 1-2 the count. Let's see if Stone will challenge Lissy this time. Pitch is high, actually. Perez had to jump up to get that one. Of course, he could have let it go. There's no runners on base, but probably good practice just to do that, to see if you're able to or be warmed up to do that if you have to really do it with runners on base. So 3 straight balls, 3-2 the count. I'm sure Stone remembers that Lissy got a triple off of him last time. Wants to be a little careful, but you got to come to him now. And he did. hit the low outside corner and a called strike. I'm not sure Lissy was completely happy with that. He kind of looked back at a moment to the umpire, but then just went on. Obviously not going to say anything. Sure, a class act already going to Houston. They look at character a lot of times when they recruit a player just as a junior. But that looked good for Stone. After giving up 3 straight balls, coming in with a very, very finesse pitch. I'd like to ask them later what that pitch was to get the strikeout. And remember, he struck out the last 2 batters he faced because he struck out Garcia to end the second, Ruben Garcia. And Jacob Mataquin, not sure what position he's playing now, but he still is in the game. Started off as the starting pitcher, got rocked, but again, still in there for his hitting ability. 2-1 the count, just not his night on the mound, but I'm sure he'd more than want to do something at the plate to make up for it. Again, if you're a Harlingen fan, 7-inning game, long way to go, so run here, run there, all helps. That ball be fouled back. Obviously, with a young pitcher like Stone Gomez, if you're a Weslaco fan, at least kind of a moral victory if he could get his first half inning without allowing a run. You got the big lead, but again, there's 7 innings, and if you shut Weslaco out the rest of the way, if you're the Cards and you score a run each inning, you'd win 7-6. That ball, a slow roller, third baseman will try to get it to first, and does. An amazing play. That was a slow roller, and it had to take a perfect pickup and throw to get the runner, and it did. Very, very nice defensive play. We talk about the offensive plays, but Dylan Garcia, that was a heck of a play, getting the ball down to Troy Rodriguez for the out. And again, Maraquin could not get there, and that is going to be an out, 5-3. But that is something that make the highlight reels. Nice defensive play. And that ball will be a CNI single, say that 10 times fast, between third and short. And Jeremy Cavazos will get on base. That's his second single of the night. He's the catcher. He's had a rough night. He's had to catch a lot of pitches. What is he? Caught about 60 pitches already, and we're like only in the 3rd inning. And when I say third, I mean Weslaco obviously hasn't even come to bat in the 3rd, so he's caught about 30 pitches in each of the first 2 innings, an average of about that. But Angel Ortiz is up now. Popped out to 3rd his first time up. Playing first. 0-1 the count. And, when you see a big defensive play, and remember also the big strikeout that Stone Gomez had of Thomas Lessie on the called 3rd strike on the full count, that has got to start giving him some motivation. Maybe get him to lift his chin a little bit higher. Now throws back to first, just trying to keep the runner close. No real serious pickoff attempt. 0-1 the count. Just wants to show the runner, I know you're there. And we'll have to see those last 2 outs, what they do for the confidence. And that was a little more serious throw that time to first. We'll have to see how those last 2 outs build the confidence of the freshman Stone Gomez. He needs no confidence at the plate. We know his ability already. But, again, trying to build confidence of him as a pitcher now. And that ball will be tacked to the mound, and it's going to be an easy throw. So the runner is out, 1-3, and that is the end of the top of the 3rd. 6-2. 6-2 is the score right now. Weslaco leading the Cardinals. And
Before Clarissa Renteria was a dentist, she was a student at Weslaco ISD. She was a cheerleader, played softball, and started college early through the dual enrollment program. She graduated from UTPA before earning her degree from the University of Texas School of Dentistry in Houston. Now she is Dr. Renteria, creating beautiful smiles at Professional Dental Group. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Dr. Clarissa Renteria, WISD was the right choice.
And now we begin the bottom of the third inning, 6-2. It is Weslaco leading Harlingen. Josh Burkett is up now. He struck out last time. That was against the original starter, Jacob Mataquin. And this time, a swing and a miss on the first pitch. 0-1 the count. We mentioned that Eddie Cerna, Panthers head coach, has been here, like 23 years, and that's just his head coach, and something like that, and also was an assistant before then, so he's been here a long time, but again, this is the first time I really got to sit and talk to him before the game, and what a pleasure. Thank you, Coach Cerna, for taking the time. I talked to his assistants a lot, but this is the one time I got to sit and talk to him. And that's going to be a roller to second. It's going to be a 4-3 out to begin the bottom of the third. Second to first for the first out. And now back to the top of the order. And again, Chris Caceres, who singled and scored and also was hit by a pitch. So he's been on base both times. He's been up tonight. He's a junior. He's had a home run this year. Where's number 9? And again, been impressed with his abilities. He pitched, I remember, the other day. And his brother is a freshman, Julian Caceres. He pitched also in a recent game, so saw both of them in. And, of course, his brother listed as an infielder, just like Chris, who's shortstop tonight, starting shortstop. Always enjoy his hustle every time we see him play. 2-0 the count. Remember, a reliever in now. Ethan Cepeda came in from third base to pitch last half inning and has done a nice job. That's a fly ball to center. That's going to be an out. F8. So nice positioning by Ruben Garcia to make the out. And I believe, if I've seen right, yes, at third base now for the Cardinals is Evan Burden, or Burden. He is listed as a third baseman and pitcher. He's a sophomore. He came in when they made the moves, including Ethan Cepeda going to the mound to pitch. So now Stone Gomez, we talked about his confidence maybe being built on the mound. He is flat out, or popped out and walked tonight. Let's see how maybe some of that confidence being built on the mound transfers to being at the plate. Well, he's got a good eye there. Ball one. And we've seen this young man be able to hit. He's got a bright future ahead of him. And, of course, what about that pitcher for the Angels last night? Guy plays field and pitches. We saw that last night on the Sunday night game on ESPN. And that was another nice fielding play by Izzy. And so in that half inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We played 3 complete, and it is Weslaco leading Harlingen 6-2. So that out, 6-3.
Before Rene Hinojosa became a business executive, he was a student at Weslaco ISD. He participated in UIL academics, designed the original Wildcats logo, was an all-state academic middle linebacker. He then played for the Longhorns, graduating with a business degree from UT. Now he's the Director of Strategic Development at Doctors Hospital at Renaissance. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Rene Hinojosa, WISD was the right choice.
Top of the fourth. And right now, Ethan Cepeda is in, the young man who we talked about doing the nice job pitching the last 2 innings. And that ball will be inside. Again, Stone Gomez beginning his 4th inning of work. Not sure if he's on any kind of pitch count. And that ball will go down the line at third base. Third baseman can't reach it. So a single down the third base line. And for the 3rd time in 4 innings, excuse me, let me change that. Once again, we see Cepeda has opened up the 4th inning with a single. I should say for at least the 2nd time in 4 innings, the leadoff runner gets on for Harlingen. And Hunter Rodriguez is up. Grounded out 4-3, second to first in his previous at bat. And that ball gets away from the catcher for a moment. We'll give a stolen base on that one. Cepeda had a good jump. So he is now at second with no outs. And again, Rodriguez at bat. Big swing. Count even, 1-1. In a little while, we'll try to get you an update from the softball game next door. Maybe between innings. That is going to be pop foul. Right fielder runs for it, but cannot reach it. 1-2. I believe the Lady Panthers in softball are playing Harlingen South. Still 3-0. Okay, thank you, Frank. Frank Innes giving us the score, our scoreboard keeper. And it is 3-0, and looks like we are in the 4th inning next door. Bottom of the 4th, of course, Lady Panthers the home team, and that's going to be popped over the shortstop's head. And we now will have runners at first and third, and actually the runner is going to go to second because they were a little concerned, Weslaco's defense, that maybe the runner at third would score, and they threw the ball to the plate, and that gave the runner a chance to make it to second. So Cepeda will go to third, and Hunter Rodriguez on the throw. He will advance to second. It'll be a single, but he advances to second on the throw. Ricardo Montelago is now up, the designated hitter. The ground out short to first, his first time up. Again, no outs. And keep in mind, if he would hit a home run, it would be a 6-5 game. That's how fast things can change in baseball. And that ball is going to be a wild pitch. Both runners will advance. Obviously, one will score. So Cepeda scores on the wild pitch. And Rodriguez advances to third. And again, no outs. And it now is a 6-3 game. So in 3 of the 4 innings, except for the third, we have seen Harlingen score a run. They scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 so far here in the 4th. But again, no outs, and we do have a runner at third. So a couple chances for a ground out or a sacrifice fly to bring that runner in. And maybe that's what the catcher's thinking right now, as we see Perez going to the mound to talk to Stone Gomez. And I believe we'll also see Coach Cerna come out. So a lot of talk here, especially when you got this young pitcher, this freshman. You want to explain the whole situation to him. Make sure you're clear what you want to do. Obviously, if there's a ground ball or a fly ball, any possible way you want to try to force the runner who may tag up at third if it's a fly ball, and obviously a grounder. We've seen it earlier in this game, a grounder scoring a runner from third for Harlingen with less than 2 outs. And again, we mentioned Montelogo has grounded out. Now, if he would ground out again, short to first, like he did his first time up, that might score a run. And that might have been something also they were talking about on the mound. We expected, and I really did expect an exciting game tonight. To be honest, no, I didn't expect this many runs. And no, I didn't really expect Harlingen to be blown out. Even after there was the big 6-1 lead, I knew they would make a comeback, but we'll have to see if Weslaco can hold on. I really did think it would still be close. We'll see. You never know. That's what makes baseball a lot of fun. Obviously, the timeless game. We saw when I was here last time, I believe it was the last home game, Weslaco against Los Fresnos. That game went, 4 hours? And talking to their coaching staff, one of their coaches told me, Kevin Ledesma, that their last game went 11 innings and it went 4 hours. 2-1 now, the count. Try to get that out without the runner scoring. Nice pitch. We have seen Stone Gomez tonight really find the corners on some pitches. For example, when he struck Lissy out on a 3-2 count. He's done a nice job tonight at times positioning his pitches. Some high heat that time, and that is going to be a strikeout. So Gomez coming through in the clutch. Gets the first out of the inning. Gabriel Gonzalez now up. Again, 1 out. And Gonzalez goes in the dirt for that one. The right fielder swinging strike. So big out, obviously. If you get this runner out, again, get this batter out without the runner getting in, all you have to do is get a third out and it's over. What I'm saying is if you can get this batter out without the runner coming in on a sacrifice fly or a ground out, you're in a lot better position to come out of this half inning without more runs. Cepeda already scored. That ball fouled away. 1-2 the count. Wind has been consistent tonight, blowing, looks to be over 20 miles an hour. That ball popped up. Third baseman running for it, but cannot get to it. Big expanses between the foul lines and the fences down the line, so a lot of room for an outfielder or a first or third baseman to run for a foul ball and maybe have a chance to catch it. 1-2 is the count. Couple singles in this inning so far. 1 run scored. And that is a swinging strike. So, a couple of back-to-back strikeouts in the clutch. And maybe whatever was discussed on that visit to the mound may have done some good. And that was huge because now, as we mentioned, runner can't score on a ground out or a pop out. Going to have to get some kind of hit. Obviously, a wild pitch would do it too, but let's not even think about that. Some sort of hit will be necessary to get the runner in, potentially. Thinks about bunting. But the old suicide squeeze, I guess. 1-0 the count. It was a ball. Again, Ruben Garcia at bat, struck out last time. As a matter of fact, I believe that was Stone's first strikeout of the night. Popped foul, 1-1. So, sun is completely down. We are in the twilight hour. Appreciate everybody joining in on YouTube for this K-West production. That's a called strike. And this is a good learning experience, even though he hates seeing that run coming in. Maybe in the long run, especially if Weslaco winds up winning this game, this can be a big learning experience for Stone Gomez. Once again, having to come back from a tough situation to end the inning. But, of course, we'll have to wait and see what he does with this batter. And that time, foul ball down the third base line. Still 1-2 the count. But you give up a couple of hits to begin the inning, run scores, and then you strike out the next 2 batters. That's huge. But again, you got to complete the trifecta. Got to get that third out. And he does. So after the 1-run scores, he strikes out the side after giving up those 2 hits. And that is the way to go, Stone. We have gone through 3.5 innings of play. And now it is 6-3 Weslaco leading Harlingen.
WHS. Let's dream it. Let's shout it. Let's dream it. Let's shout it.
So we have it come now to the top of the 4th inning. Aaron Tamez comes to the plate. Weslaco leading 6-3, again, bottom of the 4th. And that is a ball 1. So Tamez so far has doubled and scored and struck out. Swinging strike. Again, scheduled for 7 innings. And it looks like in the 5th right now, Harlingen South next door is leading the Lady Panthers 4-0. They've got another run. 1-2 the count. How about those Astros, by the way, going to Oakland and sweeping the weekend series, winning all 4 games. So if you're an Astros fan, big road start for Houston. And that is a grounder down to first. It's going to be an, was that a foul ball? Okay. For a moment, it looked like it might be a ground out. And the Texas Rangers won their first game yesterday. I think they were maybe 1-2. Got that ballpark. Opened last year, didn't get many fans in it, right, if any. But now I guess they're allowing the place to be full. They're allowing to let 40,000 in. I saw that yesterday. It was a full house on Sunday at Rangers Stadium. I guess people have to wear masks unless they're eating, but we'll see how that works out. So that is going to be line foul. 1 and 2 still the count. I'm not sure how many ballparks are allowing full capacity. That's the only one I know of for sure. There may be others. Okay, Orlando telling me that's the only one. I know Astros only allowing about 10,000. I think the Chicago White Sox, Chicago Cubs, where I'm from, Chicago, I think they're allowing somewhere between 20 and 25,000 a game. So we'll have to see if this is going to be a trend. 1 and 2 the count. And swings in the dirt. Drop third strike, but easy throw to first, and that will be registered as a strikeout. So Tomez strikes out to begin the fourth. Again, a strikeout for Ethan Cepeda. And Izzy DeLeon is next. Has singled both times up. First time he singled, drove in 2 runs. He's a right fielder. Senior, wears 24. But I'm sure if people get vaccinated, it doesn't seem to be a problem. Maybe the Major League Parks will allow more fans in. Have to wait and see. But again, I was surprised to see the Rangers allowing a full house. Of course, that ballpark built right next door to the old one. I think it's still standing. And then right across the street from where the Dallas Cowboys play, and nearby is Six Flags over there in Arlington, Texas. 2-0 the count. I saw that ballpark when I went to the Cotton Bowl this year. Very impressive looking from the outside, the new ballpark for the Rangers. It'll be the 3rd ballpark in their history since they've moved to the Dallas area. I've been to the other 2. I haven't been to the new one yet. When they first moved to Dallas area, Arlington, they were in a converted minor league park. And, of course, that was not something they were going to be in long term. But the new park they had, the second park was nice, but I think they wanted one that would be enclosed because of the hot Texas summers. 3-1 now the count. But as far as comfort, as far as watching the game, I thought the Rangers' second park was very nice. And that will be lined past the shortstop. Lissy made a nice dive for it, but could not get it. So De Leon will get on base with his 3rd hit of the night. 3 singles. Has singled each time up. And Ryan Everett, the freshman designated hitter, we'll see if he is going to be consistent. He's walked his first 2 times up. Is he going to make it a trifecta? We'll have to wait and see. 1 out. Thomas struck out, but now De Leon's on base. Inside, ball 1. Everett, again, one of those talented underclassmen. Just like people like Dylan Garcia, Stone Gomez. None of them have reached their junior year yet. Everett and Gomez, still freshmen. Throw back to first. Runner returns safely. Again, one of those situations where Cepeda wants the base runner to know, I know you're there. I know you'd love to get to second. Ball low, 2-0. If Everett, the freshman, gets on, that sophomore, Dylan Garcia, will be next. Remember, he has an RBI single tonight. Three and 0 the count. And once again, for the third time, we talked about it. Everett, I should say. Everett has the trifecta too, walked all 3 times up, and that moves De Leon to second. So De Leon has singled in all 3 trips, and now we see Everett walk in all 3 trips, and that brings up Dylan Garcia. Runners on first and second, 1 out. 6-3 lead for Weslaco. That pop foul. Also read where the All-Star game is not going to be in Atlanta this year. We're not going to get into the politics of that, but it would be nice if maybe that got moved to Texas. Wouldn't that be nice if it was down in Houston or in Arlington? No word yet about where they may relocate it, but I'm glad to hear they're still going to honor Hank Aaron, obviously the native of the Atlanta area, regardless of where the All-Star game goes. Pinch runner coming in right now, and that is going to be number 5, Cesar Gomez, a sophomore outfielder. Of course, I lived many years in Hank Aaron's real hometown of Mobile, Alabama, and got to meet him after they named a minor league park after him. So any tribute to Mr. Aaron is very well deserved, no matter where the All-Star game is played. Met him several times. Actually, when they named the minor league park, I'm not going to get into this in detail, but when they named the minor league park in Mobile after him, when the city council of Mobile approved that, I was actually the first person to call him and tell him about it. So that was quite an honor. And that is a ball, 1-1. Again, if you're a Weslaco fan, you can't think a 6-3 lead is safe, even though we're going to be going in the 5th. Still, you got to get 9 more outs of Harlingen to get this victory. And Harlingen, a quality team. Want to get some more runs. 1-2 the count. Called strike. Dylan also does a nice job fielding at third. We've seen some good plays from him this season. That is popped up into the stands. Or almost to the stands, I guess. A 1-2. But regardless of all these situations, it's good to see we are starting to have all-star games and things like that again. Good to see we're going to have minor league baseball again this year. Talk about that in a moment. Some more. 1-2 the count. That is foul tipped. You know, the Astros AAA team is now going to be in suburban Houston, where the independent team used to play, the Skeeters. Well, Houston's AAA team is there now, and they're going to open. I just got a press release, I guess in late May, against the El Paso Chihuahuas. Of course, a good friend of mine is the broadcaster for the Chihuahuas. Tim Haggerty, I knew him when he was a broadcaster in Mobile for their AA team, now in AAA ball for a few years. Congratulations to him. And that ball is going to be lifted into center, but the center fielder positioned well. Had to move a few feet in and got the out. Runners cannot advance. So fly out to center. F8, and there are now 2 outs. And Troy Rodriguez will come to the plate. He's singled and scored and struck out. I don't know if there's any other team with the nickname Chihuahuas. Of course, it means a little something to me. I have Chihuahua dogs, but someday I have to get an El Paso t-shirt. That's one thing I need to do. Call my friend about that. All right. That is a called strike. 0-1. Again, 2 outs. But you got a runner in scoring position. So possibly a single can bring in another insurance run. Ball high, 1-1. Nathaniel Pierce will be next. I should say Nathaniel Perez will be next. He has singled in 2 runs tonight. Our catcher. Two and 1 the count. Remember, all the runs tonight for Weslaco came in the first inning when they sent, what, about 12 batters to the plate, something like that. 3 and 1 the count. One more ball and the bags will be jammed. Showdown between the batter and pitcher. That's going to be lifted high. I think it's going to go foul. It will. Can the outfielder get it? No. It was up there. Left fielder tried to make a stab at it. Couldn't quite get it cleanly, so that will just be a long foul ball. Nice run. But again, couldn't make the play. Good effort, but that time no out. 3 and 2 the count. That will all be popped up. Catcher goes back for it, cannot make it. So batter remains alive. By the way, it was Hunter Rodriguez who attempted to make that out on the foul ball to left field. 3 and 2 the count. Windy but a pleasant night for baseball. No chance of rain. Foul tip. Again, we said this was going to be a showdown between these two, and we were right. Don't know if Cepeda has a pitch count. He's more normally used, to my understanding, as an infielder, but done a nice job so far since coming in. Runner dives back to second, but second baseman had to run in to get the throw, so no way they were going to get the runner. But at the same time, they wanted to make sure not a big lead, because if there is a single, you'd like to, if you're a Harlingen fan, keep that runner from scoring, just advance to third base and have the bases loaded. And that's going to be a walk. So that time, the showdown is won by Troy Rodriguez. And Nathaniel Perez comes up. Singled and drove in 2 runs. Also grounded out second to first. Again, 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th. Runners at first and second. And if they don't score, this would be the 3rd consecutive inning. Weslaco's been shut out. And of course, Harlingen has scored in every inning but the 3rd, but it's always been just 1 run. 1 run in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, and 1 in the 4th. And again, these teams no stranger to long games. Harlingen's last game went 4 hours. I know Los Fresnos and Weslaco went about 4 hours, and we're approaching the 3-hour mark now, getting close. Foul down the left side. 1-1. course, I grew up enjoying baseball, and I've seen a lot of double headers growing up at watching games at Wrigley Field in Chicago, so I don't mind a long evening of baseball. I had a friend one time that went to see a game in Atlanta on the 4th of July. I think it went to like 4 in the morning. They won't allow that anymore. As a matter of fact, they did fireworks in Atlanta at like 4 in the morning. I'm sure that scared everybody that woke them up that lived in that neighborhood. That was at the old Fulton County Stadium many, many years ago. Two and one the count. And regardless of the length of the game, you hear lots of applause from the fans out here. One thing about the baseball fans that come out here at Weslaco, they're very involved, very active, very vocal, and support their team. Big swing. Count even, 2-2. Still 4-0 next door. I think it's in about the maybe 5th inning. Harlingen South leading the Lady Panthers of Weslaco. That popped up. First baseman will run back. Will that be in fair territory? It is. It's in fair territory, a fair ball, and that will score a run. Big single. First baseman gave a good run for it, but it dropped in just inside fair territory and scores a run. So that actually is going to be 2 runs. Let me correct that. 2 runs have scored, and those are the first runs scored by Weslaco since the first inning. So nice job there by Perez. And that will score De Leon and also Everett. De Leon got on a base hit, and then Everett walked. Of course, Troy Rodriguez also walked, and he's on third now. He went from first to third. And for Perez, that is his second single of the night that has drove in 2 RBIs. He already has 4 RBIs tonight. So half of the RBIs tonight by the Weslaco Panthers are off the bat of Mr. Perez, our catcher. And not to mention that he's had to catch a lot of pitches tonight. Michael Alanis is now in. Listed as an infielder, a senior. He'll be pinch hitting for Josh Burkett, who struck out and grounded out second to first in his 2 appearances. He was playing left field. So 2 outs, runners on the corners. And now it is an 8-3 lead for Weslaco. 6 in the first, now 2 in the fourth. So nice job tonight by Mr. Perez. Ball is low. Immediately Alanis signals down to third base. A warning Rodriguez, do not try to come in. Always good to see that kind of communication between a batter and base runners. Well coached. And that's a wild pitch. That is going to score a run. That's going to score a run. Okay, did it hit the batter too? All right, so the batter was hit. So now the runner got to go back to third? Yeah, runner has to go back to third. All right, so it was a hit batsman that time. Alanis is hit by the pitch, and he will go to first. He is the second batter tonight to be hit by a pitch for Weslaco. Caceres also was hit in the first inning when he batted his second time, I believe. Pinch runner coming in. Okay, that's going to be number 3, Mikel Trevino, listed as a pitcher and outfielder, a junior. So the runner had to go back to third. Did not score. That would be Trey Rodriguez. And Perez is replaced by a pinch runner. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Alanis is replaced by a pinch runner, and the bags are loaded. Allen, he's been hit by the pitch, actually loaded the bases. Let's get that all straight. So, runner did not come in because it was not a wild pitch, but it did load the bases. And we have runners. I believe we have a pinch runner at second, too. And that's going to be a grounder to short. And that will end the inning. So we see an out, 6-4. And 2 runs for the Panthers in the bottom of the 4th. And after 4, it's 8-3, Weslaco over Harlingen.
Before Christine McCleary was a physical therapist, she was an honor student at Weslaco ISD, played sports, and was a cheerleader. She graduated from Ohio State University, then physical therapy school at Texas State University. Now she is Dr. Christine McCleary at Triumph Therapy and part of the clinical faculty at UTRGV School of Medicine. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Christine McCleary, WISD was the right choice.
Top of the order leads off the 5th. Thomas Lisi, who is committed to the University of Houston as a junior. And Lisi, he has struck out last time against Gomez, also tripled to begin the game and scored. He scored the only run of the first inning. And Lisi fouls that ball off. 0-1. Count even 1-all, 1-1. Weslaco, of course, beat Brownsville Rivera 2-1 on the road last Thursday. According to our schedule, they play at Donna North Friday. And again, 1-2 the count. Are away also next Monday against Harlingen South. All those are games. I'm not sure the times. I think the one on Friday 6th, one on Monday 6:30. And their next scheduled home day will be a week from this Friday, April 16th. San Benito will come to town. That'll be a 6:30 game. Also, Monday the 19th, Brownsville Hanna is scheduled to be here for a home game. Final home game. Final game of the regular season, April 26th against Brownsville Rivera, 6:30 game. So only several home games in the regular season left. And there's some road games too, but those are some of the home games left for the Weslaco Panthers. 2-2 the count, full count. Remember last time it was a full count, and we saw Gomez, the great pitch in the corner for a called third strike. Thomas not too happy, I don't think, with that call, but again, no argument, obviously. He'll step out. Battle of the minds now. So let's see on a 3-2 count if Gomez can get the strikeout again. This time, no, it's going to be a walk. And keep in mind, last inning, after giving up a couple hits and allowing a run, we saw Stone Gomez strike out the side. Stone Gomez struck out the side. So he was trying for his fourth straight strikeout. But does not get it. Jacob Mariquin coming to the plate. Lisi leading off, dives back. We know he's a talented player. Certainly has speed on the base paths. To already have committed to a D1 school as a junior. Stone with the pitch, Outside, ball 1. Again, no outs. Weslaco with a 5-run lead here in the 5th, 8-3. Again, trying to keep the runner close. You can just about be guaranteed that if Thomas has any opportunity at all, he's going to try to steal a base. And Stone knows that too. That's why all the throwbacks, I mean, that's a special player at first right now. Still 1-0 count. One and one. Again, Jacob Metaquin at bat. Started out as the starting pitcher. Struggled, gave up 6 runs in that first. Got a couple runners on in the second, and then was replaced by Ethan Cepeda. What's that, about the 4th or 5th throw to first base? We have not seen that in quite a while. I think in most of these games I've been to, I've never seen that many throws to first base to try to keep a batter on this season. At least the games I've been at. I wish I'd made a count of that. I'm going to say it's about 5 or 6. I don't have the exact count, but if he gets on again later in this game, I'll definitely keep count. Only 2 pitches so far thrown to the batter, 1-1 count. Kind of forget the batter's there. And there he goes. Now, that was a wild pitch. We're going to give him a steal, and then got to third on the wild pitch. And like I said, it was just about guaranteed he was going to try to run. And that's why there was all those pitches by Stone Gomez, all those throws, I should say, to first. So that'll be Lissy's first stolen base of the night. Gets to gets to third on the wild pitch, and getting back to the batter, it's 1-2. Mariquin has flied to center and grounded third to first, and this time strikes out. So he's 0 for 3 tonight. Now you just have to try to get this next batter out by either a strikeout or some sort of out that will not allow this batter to tag up or run in on a grounder. Just about anything that's halfway deep as far as a fly ball that's caught or any grounder in the infield is going to let this runner score. He's got a lot of speed. So the best ally of the pitcher would be a strikeout, and that is not something that is out of the realm of possibility, especially for Stone in the last couple innings. He has struck out 3 of the last 4 batters. Only Thomas got on via the walk. So we've seen some impressive things from Stone Gomez as this game has moved on, even though he's given up 3 runs. And that's going to be a grounder to short. And like I said, that is going to be a guaranteed run. And you don't even think about trying to get the runner at home plate. You just try to get the sure out. And so that was smart fielding by Chris Caceres. Chris knew he wasn't going to get that runner. He knew Thomas was going to score, so he just makes a good safe play and a good solid throw to first for the out. And by the way, that was Jeremy Cavazos. We were talking so much about Thomas. We didn't mention he was the batter, so he grounds out 6-3. And that was actually the first time they got Cavazos out tonight, the catcher. He had singled in his first 2 trips to the plate. number 12. Now Angel Ortiz is up, number 19. And he is 0 for 2 tonight, batting. That is 2-0 count. He popped out to third and also was out on a grounder, pitcher to first. Again, 2-0 the count. 2 outs, nobody on. And it's now an 8-4 score. Again, 1 has been the big number offensively for Harlingen. They've scored 1 run in 4 of the 5 innings. The only inning they did not score 1 run was the third. And again, 8-4 the score. Now if they score 1 run in the 6th and 7th and get shut down here, it'll be a 8-6 win for Weslaco. We'll take that. But again, that's not quite how baseball works. Got to get through this one first before I even talk about any of that. And that hit the batter. So Angel Ortiz is on first. And Ethan Cepeda, who started at third, now the pitcher comes up. And he's singled and scored and also walked and scored. So he scored 2 of the runs in this game. 2 of the 4 runs have been scored by Cepeda. And there's going to be a pinch runner coming out right now at first. And all right. So the pitch runner comes out. Dago Adame. Dago Adame listed as a second baseman, a freshman. And Ethan Cepeda is up now with the pitch runner on. Angel Ortiz, again, was replaced on base. 2 outs. Don't want to allow Cepeda to get on for a third time. The last half inning, if I recall, Stone threw 25 pitches. I believe coming into this inning he was at 65. We'll see the total after we finish this half inning. That was the most I believe he threw in any half inning. Again, I don't know what pitch counts are. Talking to some of the other members of the press box, they don't normally go over 100 pitches, do these pitchers? Not normally. No, so I don't think they get near it. I was just talking to our PA announcer, Orlando Martinez Jr. He said they get near it sometimes, but I would suspect, unless he has some fast innings, you almost got to think maybe Stone won't get a complete game, but who knows? I'm talking about if he has innings where he's throwing 20 pitches. And keep in mind, he's throwing a lot of pitches to first, too, especially in this half inning. I bet he's thrown the ball to first base at least 10 times, especially when Thomas Lisi was out there. And that does take a toll. And this is 3-0. And sometimes if you start getting a little bit tired, you start losing some of your control. We don't know if that's the case. But I'm sure Coach Cerna does. So let's see if Cepeda gets on base for the 3rd time tonight. One more ball and he will. And he does. But more importantly, if you're a Harlingen fan, that moves the runner, or the pitch runner, to second. Adame goes to second. And there's going to be a conference at the mound. We'll have to see if anybody comes in from the dugout to speak. Of course, Weslaco is in the 3rd base dugout. Harlingen in the 1st base dugout. Still 2 outs. And I guess from here you can't really see if anybody's warming up. At least I can't from my position in the press box. I don't know if they do a lot of that or not. Hunter Rodriguez steps to the plate. Hunter has singled his last time up, also grounded out from short to first. That is a hard hit ball. It is going to go, 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 go. And it's out of here. It is out of here. A home run. A 3-run homer to left center field. And all of a sudden, Weslaco's lead is down to 1. 8-7. 4 runs scored here in the 5th. So a monster shot by Hector Rodriguez to left center field brings in 3 runs. Adami, the pinch runner for Angel Ortiz, comes in. So does Ethan Cepeda. And obviously Hunter Rodriguez with a 3-run homer. 3 RBIs. And that's how quickly things can change in baseball. So the first home run of the night. And again, you saw the excitement, if you're watching this on YouTube, from the Harlingen team. And now Stone Gomez will come out. And we'll have to see who will pitch. So that was a very legitimate home run. There was nothing cheap about that shot. And we were talking about, we doubt he'd get over 100. And we just heard the pitch count from Peter Solis, who's keeping track of that tonight. 86 pitches now for Stone Gomez. We'll have to see if he stays in the game. His bat is very potent. So he is out, and we'll see who's pitching here in a moment. But the key right now, if you're a Panthers fan, is to get this half inning closed out without any more damage. And obviously you're very excited if you're a Harlingen fan, especially after Rodriguez's home run. Big shot by the left fielder. But now Ricardo Montalogo will come in. He is the designated hitter. And he has struck out his last time at bat against Stone Gomez. Also grounded out short to first, and who's 2 trips to the bat, or to the plate, out at bat, I guess you could say. So 4 runs so far here in the 5th inning for Harlingen. Obviously 6 in the first was the big inning for Weslaco. And, of course, I have no doubt that Castillo has the ability to shut out Harlingen the rest of the way. And, of course, I have no doubt that Harlingen is motivated right now. They've got the momentum. So this is where it gets exciting if you're a baseball fan. Here's the first pitch, and that is grounded out to first. That is what the doctor ordered. If you're a Weslaco fan, unassisted put out by the first baseman. And we now have played 4.5 innings of baseball. And after a 4-run half inning, we see it is Weslaco leading right now, 8-7 over Harlingen.
Before Danya Pulido became an attorney, she was a student at Weslaco ISD. She was a member of the National Honor Society and a cheerleader. She earned her degree from St. Mary's University, then graduated from St. Mary's University School of Law. Now she is Danya Pulido, attorney at law for Texas Legal Services Center in Austin. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Danya Pulido, Weslaco ISD was the right choice.
Obviously, if you're a Weslaco fan, you're getting a little nervous, but if you're a fan of baseball, you got to know this is what it's all about when two top teams in the district come up and meet. So let's see what Weslaco does here in the bottom of the fifth, and Stone Gomez still in there. We'll see where he winds up playing in the field, but you don't want to take his bat out of the lineup, even if you've taken him out off the pitching mound. And the first pitch is a strike. So far tonight, he has walked and grounded out short to first. One and one the count. Two and one the count. Three and one. Still in there pitching. Ethan Cepeda, only the second pitcher of the night. He came in the second inning. No outs, 2 runners on, and he's gone all the way since that time. And that's going to be a walk. A walk to start the bottom of the fifth. And actually, I want to make a correction on Stone. He was 0 for 2 tonight. He also popped out to second, walked, and was out short to first. So he's actually made a walk, got on base once, and then, of course, made a couple outs to the infielders and just walked now. So 2 walks tonight for Stone Gomez. I want to make a correction there. And Aaron Thomas is up now. And we're going to have I believe the coach is coming. The head coach is going to come in to talk right now. Armando Rangel, he's going to talk with his pitcher, see if he'll make a change or not.
WHS. Let's dream it. Let's shout it. Let's dream it. Let's shout it.
Montalongo is in. Ricardo listed as an outfielder, as a pitcher too. He's a junior. He's been the designated hitter tonight. And again, it's going to be a grounder unassisted to first, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Runner will go to second, but again, a ground out. And Tamez is out. Gomez advances to second. So coming up now is going to be number 24, Izzy De Leon, who's had a good night. I believe he has singled in all 3 trips to the plate. So it's been a good night for him. See if he can keep this going on his 4th trip. Again, 1 out, runner at second. 8-7. Weslaco leading by 1. And And that's a high fly ball towards center. Center fielder going back, but has a beat on it and gets it. It is not deep enough for the runner to tag and go. And we now have the second out of the inning. So De Leon is retired for the first time tonight. That is F8. Fly to center. Ruben Garcia makes the out. Ryan Everett now up, the designated hitter. Freshman. He has walked all 3 times tonight. Remember we talked about how De Leon in his first 3 trips got singles. Of course, just made an out now. Everett in his first 3 trips walked. But there are 2 outs. Runner is in scoring position. Even if you don't get another run defensively, you've got to get Harlingen retired for 6 outs. Scheduled 7-inning game. That's if you're a Weslaco fan. First pitch is a ball. .32 6A district action. Very tight district. Talking with the coaches before the game. They all agree to that. This is a tough district, even though Harlingen is undefeated. We're beginning the second half of the district. Anything can happen. Nothing's a sure thing yet. Called strike, 1-2. So new pitcher. Obviously against the other 2 pitchers, Ryan drew walks from both of them. But this one a little tougher. And that is going to be a swinging strike 3, and that ends the 5th inning. So no runs and 7 pitches thrown that time by the new pitcher. So after 5 innings of play, 8-7, Weslaco leads Harlingen.
Before David Lozano started practicing law, he was a student at Weslaco ISD. He participated in UIL athletics. He was a regional qualifier. He earned college credits through the dual enrollment program. After high school, he attended the University of Texas before graduating from St. Mary's School of Law. Now he helps people in need as an attorney. WISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For David Lozano, Weslaco ISD was the right choice.
It could come down to the fact tonight where Weslaco may have to win it in extra innings or at their last at bat. Being the home team may be very advantageous for Weslaco tonight in this type of game. So we begin the 6th inning. First pitch is a strike. So nice start in this inning for Alex Castillo. See what he can do. That's going to be a ball. Batting right now is Gabriel Gonzalez. And he's been hit by a pitch and struck out. And that's going to be a slow grounder to second. Second baseman gets good angle on it and throws to first for the out. Gets the runner by about a step, but that's all you need. 4-3. So nice job that time by Isaac Rodriguez, who is not batting tonight but playing the field. Oh, now Stone is there. Okay, there have been changes, so thanks for the information from Orlando. Stone Gomez moved to second from the pitching position, and he throws the out to Troy Rodriguez at first. So there's 1 out. We knew Stone would stay in the game even after he came out of the pitching position. Now an attempt for a bunt single, but that is not going to happen. Alex Castillo gets off the mound, and he throws out the runner. Again, 1-3. So 2 quick outs. 2 quick outs for Castillo. And we'll see what happens now. We're back at the top of the order. Thomas Lissy at bat. He's tripled and scored in the first inning, then struck out and walked. Lissy, again, a committed athlete for the University of Houston, just a junior. But again, 2 big outs, 2 big ground outs without many pitches to begin the 6th inning. Especially when you got a guy like Lissy up there. It's good to have him up and the top of the order with 2 outs. And by the way, the girls' game is over next door. I believe the final was an 8-0 loss for the Lady Panthers of Weslaco against Harlingen South. 2-1 the count. Lissy, a slender frame. But again, we've seen he's able to move out there both defensively as well as being a strong offensive player. And that ball is tapped foul. So Weslaco hoping for a quick half inning. We'll have to wait and see. Now Marroquin is next, and Marroquin is 0 for 3 tonight. That's high, full count. I remember one time on a full count, Stone Gomez, when he was in there, got Lissy on a good pitch for a called strike 3. Can history repeat itself? No, this time it is going to be a solid single to right. So Lissy gets his 2nd hit of the night, and now he's been on base 3 of 4 times. Latest is a single. As we mentioned, had a triple and also walked with a strikeout to complete his outing so far as a batter. So Marroquin, the starting pitcher, is now up. Marroquin is up. And again, Lissy goes and is going to be safe. That is his 2nd stolen base of the night. You remember earlier, Stone Gomez played kind of cat and mouse with him. He must have thrown about 7 or 8 times to first base before Lissy finally went ahead and stole the base. I'm sure he has quite a total of stolen bases this season. Be interesting to find out how many he has. He's just got a quick move and speed. It's hard to stop. And that's going to be a wild pitch. Gets away from the catcher. And Lissy is now at 3rd with the tying run. Again, remember, after the first inning, Weslaco led 6-1. But now the tying run at 3rd base with 2 outs. There were 2 quick outs, 2 quick infield outs, but now things have gotten a little tense. The only thing you can say is that Marroquin has not reached base tonight. Castillo now will get off the mound. Little mind games out there. 0-2 the count. We'll see if he wastes a pitch. Tries to see if the batter goes after a bad one. We'll see. Takes his time. And that's a high fly ball to the alley. And that is going to be almost caught by the center fielder. Great, great stab at it. Couldn't quite get there. No lack of effort, but it's going to be a double that ties the game. So Lissy comes in. And Marroquin gets his first hit of the night after going 0 for 3. And now it's tied up at 8. And there was a great effort in center field by Tamez, trying to dive for that ball. Thought for a moment he might get it. Just a little bit past his reach as he was heading toward right center to get it. But wasn't going to happen. And now we'll have to say we've got the lead run for Harlingen at second. And Jeremy Cavazos coming up, and he got singles his first time up, then last time ground out short to first. Again, still 2 outs. We talked about it. Maybe Weslaco definitely going to need the fact that they have the last at bats, being the home team, may need that to pull it out tonight. Only time will tell. Now we're going to have an intentional walk. So Cavazos goes to first. Medellin stays at second. And Angel Ortiz, I believe, is up. I know they had a pinch runner for him. No, Angel will be up. I think he was hit by a pitch last time after popping out to the third baseman and grounding out pitcher to first. Getting some advice from his coach. So runners on first and second after 2 quick outs. Obviously, Ortiz is going to do what he can. And again, of course, a 3-run homer by Hunter Rodriguez, key in this game. And that is going to get away from the catcher. And now we have runners in scoring position with 2 outs. So Harlingen has scored in every inning but the 3rd. Their big one was the 5th when they scored 4. In all the other innings, they scored 1. And that adds up to the 8. Weslaco scoring in the 1st with 6 and also in the 4th with 2. That pitch outside 2-0. First base is open. But of course, Ethan Cepeda is up next. And he's been on base all 3 times, as well as doing a nice job pitching tonight in relief. Big swing, 2-1 the count. So this is what you expect when you have 2 of the better teams in the district playing. It was a 1-run game last time, Harlingen winning there on their home turf 2-1. This could be a 1-run game too, though much more higher scoring. And it's later in the season. Maybe the bats come in a little more alive. Teams having a little more chances to play. Some of the usual early season outings were lost this year because of all the pandemic. And maybe that's why bats were a little bit slower to come alive this year. I'm not sure. But I've seemed to sense hearing that from some of the coaches I've talked to. An unusual year. Of course, not like last year when everything came to an end very quickly. So 3-1 is the count. First base, as we mentioned, is open. And that will be fouled back. Again, it seems like when I come here, 4-hour games are the norm, at least. I think last time I was here was about 4 hours. We're approaching about 3:45 now. Not complaining, just stating a fact. Like I said, I enjoy baseball. It is the one game without a clock, at least of sports that we're familiar with. Not exactly sure how cricket. I know that's like one of the top sports in the world. I know huge in India. I think that game goes for days sometimes, but I'm just not that familiar with that sport, I'll be honest with you. 3-2 the count. But on most of the sports we're familiar with here in North America, clocks are used and games go into overtime, but usually end in a reasonable amount of time, I know. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be a walk, loading the bases. So, Ethan Cepeda comes up. I believe if I'm looking at my stats right, he's walked and singled. He may have scored all 3 times. He's been on base too. Very effective. Again, another conference at the mound. No room for error now. 8-8. I guess if you're familiar with pool game, both teams behind the 8 ball right now. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight on YouTube, a K-West production. My name is Scott Harrison. Again, I don't mention it too often. This is about the kids, not me, but again, people tell me I should mention it once in a while, so I will. But yeah, always an honor to work with K-West. That's a strike. That's going to be a high fly ball. Let's see if it's in play. Catcher going back. And did he get it? No, just missed it. Just out of his grasp. Again, those are tricky plays. We got a lot of wind tonight. Those high fly balls, we've seen a couple times, both with outfielders too, where they've gotten twisted around trying to make the play. And with winds over 20 miles an hour, I wouldn't doubt that might have something to do with it. It's tricky trying to catch balls, especially when you're a catcher and you got to get up from the crouch position and you're twisting around trying to find it in the lights and the wind. Not the easiest thing to do in the world. Give them a lot of credit for the things they try. 0-2 is the count, though. On the batter, again, bases jammed. 2 outs. We're in the 6th inning. All knotted up at 8 between Harlingen and Weslaco. And that's going to be a high fly ball. And that is going to go back. And that is going to go to the wall. Deep center field. And that is going to clear the bases of the runners that were on. And the batter is going to wind up at second. So once again, a big ninth for Ethan Cepeda. 3 RBIs on that double. And for the first time since the 1st inning, Harlingen takes the lead. Of course, they led after the first half inning 1-0. Now they're ahead 11-8. So you know Ethan has to be happy. He's been on base all night long. Also had a nice pinching stint. And now put his team ahead 11-8. Remember, there were 2 quick outs in this inning. And things have gone downhill since for the Panthers. A 1-0 the count. So 2 big hits tonight. Ethan Cepeda with the double that scored 3 runs, and then the 3-run homer by Hunter Rodriguez. And that's going to be a swinging strike. Runner attempts to steal third and gets there. So Cepeda steals third. Again, 1-1 the count. And Hunter Rodriguez, the man that had that home run, is the one up, actually. And he is going to get a single over the shortstop's head. That'll be his 4th RBI, I believe, of the night. And that ball is going to go back to the fence, and he'll wind up on 3rd. Cepeda comes in. So, again, Rodriguez homered his last time up, gets a single then, and now the lead is 4, 12-8. And Eddie Cerna comes out to the mound. So the last 2 innings have been big, and that'll be it for Alex Castillo. He comes out. He had 27 pitches since he came in for the starter, Stone Gomez. So let's see what Isaac can do. First pitch to Ricardo Montalogo. Fouled off. 0-1. As we see on the schedule for the Panthers, their phrase here, their little motto is one team, one direction. So when they get back up to bat, the direction is find where the fielders aren't, get those hits, and get a rally going. And Rodriguez will surrender a hit to the first batter he faces. It's a single. And that will bring up Gabriel Gonzalez. He's been on base, I know, at least once tonight, hit by a pitch. Also made outs his last 2 times up. So that drove in a run. And the score is 13-8, and we have a pinch runner. We'll see if we can find out who that is. And now we see here in the 6th inning, Harlingen has equaled that output of Weslaco in the 1st inning when they had 6. Harlingen 6 here in the 6th. Ball 1. I believe this may be the first time I've had a chance to see Rodriguez pitch this season. 2-0 the count. Pinch runner leading off first. All 6 runs scoring after 2 outs. Two 2-1 the count. Some of those deep hits tonight, probably wind aided, but both teams have had that benefit. That's a high fly ball. Left fielder comes in, and that is going to be the 3rd out of the inning finally. So we have now played 5.5 innings, and it is Harlingen leading Weslaco 13-8.
Before David Lozano started practicing law, he was a student at Weslaco ISD. He participated in UIL athletics. He was a regional qualifier. He earned college credits through the dual enrollment program. After high school, he attended the University of Texas before graduating from St. Mary's School of Law. Now he helps people in need as an attorney. WISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For David Lozano, Weslaco ISD was the right choice.
And of course, we are now going to the bottom of the 6th. And hitting right now for the Panthers, Dylan Garcia. Dylan's been on base tonight. And that is a fly ball. So first ball hitting, he flies out to center. 1 away. And that will bring up Troy Rodriguez. And he singled and scored in that big first, also walked later in the game and struck out. Ball 1. Nathaniel Perez would be next. And he has 4 RBIs in this game. And that is going to be a CNI single up center. So Troy gets his second hit of the game. And you got to start somewhere. And you got a gentleman who's got a couple singles tonight, each time scored 2 runs. So Nathaniel Perez, 4 RBIs in the game. Responsible for half of Weslaco's runs. Fouls that one away, 0-1. And this is one of those games where who knows what can happen, especially when you got the wind blowing. And you're going deep into the pitching rotations. I wouldn't call this one over to the final out of the game for either team. Sharply hit foul down the third base side. Again, good cuts. Both teams well into double digits hitting. Meaning total number of hits. Low 1-2 the count. And even, I got to say this to Weslaco, even if you have 2 outs, anything can happen. We saw in the last half inning, 6 runs scored by Harlingen with 2 outs. Nobody on. And 2 quick outs, and then they wind up scoring 6 runs. 2-2 the count. I know we're talking about the Astros. I think they're still on their West Coast trip. Won their first 4 in Oakland. And then they'll be home. I think they may open against Oakland when they finally get home later this month. And that is a drop third strike. And the runner's going to get to first. So that might be the break that Weslaco needs. On a drop third strike, ball went back far enough. Runner had the opportunity to get to first. And now there are runners on first and second and only 1 out. Miguel Trevino coming up. Michael, of course, a replacement in this game. Do you know where Michael's playing? Left field, okay, thank you. Appreciate the insight. Orlando Martinez Jr., our PA announcer, his dad, as we mentioned earlier, takes care of this field, and with all the running around, it's held up very well. We had some big rains in the past week, so for the field to look like this, I know a lot of work was done. One and two the count. Michael listed as a pitcher and outfielder, just a junior. That's fouled back. We've mentioned this before. It's nice how around the stands here behind home plate, they've got the names put up before every game of all the players on kind of circular, simulated looking baseballs. They've got their names and numbers. Fans put that up behind the stands before the games, or in front of the stands, I guess, before the games. And for a minute it looked like another drop third strike, but a foul tip. For example, I'm looking right down at Ryan Everett's name, a big 18 above the stitches of the baseball, and then his name, and then, of course, the bottom stitches of the baseball. Nice little signs that were put together for all the players here at the field. And that's a wild pitch. Runner advances to third. Still just one out. Back to the top of the order after this. That's a swing and a strike. And actually there were two outs. So that is going to be the third out of the inning. And we have now played 6 complete. And it is 13-8 Harlingen over Weslaco.
Before Harlan Block raised the flag over Iwo Jima, he was a student at Weslaco ISD. There he played for the Panthers, won a championship, and learned some of the leadership skills he and 7 other students used while serving in the Marines. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prominent graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For war hero Harlan Block, Weslaco ISD was the right choice.
So we are going to the 7th inning. Ruben Garcia is up. And he struck out a couple times and also made an out his other time. And so he's still looking to get a hit in this big game of hot bats. And that time, grounded to third, a long throw and easy out. A nice throw from third that time for the first out of the inning. Dylan Garcia doing a great job getting the ball across the diamond to Troy Rodriguez. Very clean fielding. Good fundamental fielding. Fundamental. Thomas Lissy is up. And of course, Lissy has tripled and singled and walked in 3 of his 4 at-bats. Also struck out. Scored in both the first and the 6th inning. University of Houston signee. I wonder if he was cheering big for the Cougars in the Final Four. Obviously, they didn't repeat what the Cougars did back in the 80s, right? Had some pretty good teams. Made the national championship game. But it was a good run by Houston. The program's come a long way recently. I know they've remodeled their arena over there in Houston where they play basketball. I saw it the last year before they remodeled it. But I heard they did quite a job renovating it. They actually had to play on the road for a couple years, no home games, but back there again. 3-1 the count. We all know what Lissy can do on the base paths. We've seen him steal a couple bases tonight. So now that he's on base, he becomes a very dangerous runner. And you can just about be assured if he has any opportunity at all, he is going to try to make it to second. And he has got a great jump and great speed. Very hard to catch him on the base paths when he wants to steal a base. I know they're trying to hold him on. We saw earlier tonight Stone Gomez throw a number of pitches. The most I think I've seen this season at an at-bat of a pitcher throwing to first base, at least in a high school game, trying to keep the runner on. It must have been like, what, 6 or 7 he did. But Lissy still managed to steal the base. So you know very much Isaac Rodriguez is aware of that on the mound, and there he throws. You can almost be assured that every time Lissy gets on base, at very least there's going to be a number of throws to try to keep him close. You kind of almost forget the batters up there. Of course, it's Jacob Metaquin. And this time, there is the stolen base. Ball gets away from the infielders, and the runner goes to third. I mean, I could just about guarantee you he was going to try to steal, and he seems almost unstoppable on the base paths when he wants to steal. He seems to like to be able to steal at will. That's the kind of talent that young man has on the base paths. He has impressed me. Third stolen base of the night. So he's on third. Just 1 out. Metaquin got a hit his last time at bat, doubled. And that ball is going to be behind him. 1-1. Jeremy Cavazos next. That's a high pop ball. One and two the count. And that is fouled back. And I may have mistakenly earlier said that we were approaching 4 hours in the game. Actually, I meant to say 3 hours, but we're at about 3 hours and 15 minutes. So, of course, most NFL games I've watched this year, I think have been about that long too. But we did make 4 hours earlier this year. That we did do. Math was never one of my better subjects. That's why I talk for a living. 1 and 2 the count. And that ball will go down into right field. And that is going to be a double, a run-scoring double. So, Metaquin doubles and 2 consecutive at-bats. And that will score Lissy. And it's now a 14-8 game. Jeremy Cavazos coming to the plate. He's singled in 3 of his 4 bats. Only other bat he grounded out short to first. Playing catcher. A junior. 0-1 the count. Big swing, 0-2. Still just 1 out. Again, the girls played softball next door earlier this evening, but lost that game, Lady Panthers. And that's going to be a hit by pitch. So Cavazos will go to first. Again, runners at first and second with 1 out. Angel Ortiz is next. He singled and scored his last at bat. First time he got on base tonight. After making 2 infield outs his first 2 at bats. I want to know the count. Consistent scoring for Harlingen tonight. They've scored in every inning but the 3rd. Most of the time just 1 runs, but picking it up in the later innings. Two and 0. And that's going to be a solid single into right. We'll load the bases. And Ethan Zepeda will come up. He has got on base every time he's been on tonight and scored. I believe a couple hits and a couple walks. Last time it was a double, scoring 3 runs. One of the big hits tonight for Harlingen. That along with a 3-run homer for Hunter Rodriguez, who's up next. That time will be tapped in the gap between second and third. And that will score 2 runs. So Orlando having a big night, and it's now 16-8. Orlando, I believe, now has at least 5 RBIs. 3 runs here now in the 7th. And now the man who has the 1 home run in the game is up, Hunter Rodriguez. And there'll be a trip to the mound for Eddie Cerna. So in the last 3 innings, in the 5th, 6th, and 7th, Harlingen has scored 4, 6, and 3 runs. They've scored 13 runs in the last 3 innings, and we're going to have a new pitcher come in. 26 pitches for Isaac Rodriguez as he heads to the dugout.
Before Rene Inuhosa became a business executive, he was a student at Weslaco ISD. He participated in UIL academics, designed the original Wildcats logo, was an all-state academic middle linebacker. He then played for the Longhorns, graduating with a business degree from UT. Now he's the Director of Strategic Development at Doctors Hospital at Renaissance. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Rene Inuhosa, WISD was the right choice.
So, back to action once again. New pitcher in, Burkett. And he is facing Gabriel Gonzalez. And first pitch hits Gonzalez. Gonzalez now has been hit by a pitch for the second time tonight. And we have the bags jammed. Again, 3 already in during the 7th inning. And a 16-8 lead for Harlingen. So coming up next is Ruben Garcia. Ruben, one of the few players, according to my stats, hitless tonight for Harlingen. All right, actually a change as we get late in the game. And that is going to be a hit over the right fielder's head. And that will score more runs. That is going to be a triple. So a big triple that time. Now we'll make it a 19-8 game. And we had gone 1 ahead that time. That was actually Ricardo Montalongo who was batting. And he will be substituted for. Pitch runner coming on. Now Gabriel Gonzalez is up. So for the second consecutive inning, 6 runs have been scored by Harlingen. And Montalongo has had hits in his last 2 at-bats. And that is going to be another one in the gap between center and right. And that will be a double. So coming in that time was the pinch runner, Desmond Ledesma, a senior outfielder. He gets a chance to play and scores a run. And now we're up to 20. 20-8 is the score. 7 runs now here in the inning. Stepping to the plate, pinch hitter, Christian Gonzalez, sophomore, listed as a first baseman. Still just 1 out. 20-6 is the score. Harlingen over Weslaco. Again, as we mentioned, 3 runs scored total last time these two teams met. 28 already tonight, total. A 1-0 the count. Jake Burkett pitching. Called strike. Fans still hanging in there for both teams. Proud to see them supporting their players. 2-1 the count. That is going to be a pitch, wild pitch. Runner advances to third. We're here in April. Hard to believe. I'm not sure when exactly is scheduled, but usually in April means we're just about ready for the NFL draft. It's hard to believe it. Everybody will start talking even more football than usual. Again, 3-1 the count. That's a high fly ball, but left fielder has it positioned perfectly for the second out of the inning. So we'll have to see if Harlingen goes deeper into their order or will stay with some of their regulars, and they will this time. Thomas Lisi is coming back up to bat once again. (21-8) the score. Another run comes in. One and 0 the count. Again, 2 outs. Top of the 7th, scheduled 7-inning game. Lisi fouls it off down the left side. 1-1. Eight runs scored so far here in the inning for Harlingen. Pitcher takes too long. Lisi calls time. Fouled away, 1-2. Of course, I mentioned Lisi signed to go to Houston. Always good to go to a regional school. That way the family can come and watch you play. And through all this, though, we do want to congratulate the Weslaco girls track team 1 district. I had on one of the local TV stations and saw them talking about how well they did in the district meet. So congratulations to the Lady Panthers track team. Wanted to get that in tonight for sure. Count even at 2-2. As a matter of fact, that little interview during the sportscast with Amity Ebarb. She's had a great season, being very victorious, running the 400 and 800 meters in track. High fly. And that is going to be the third out of the inning. So it comes to an end finally. 8 runs for Harlingen. And after 6.5 innings, it is Harlingen leading Weslaco 21-8.
Before Clarissa Renteria was a dentist, she was a student at Weslaco ISD. She was a cheerleader, played softball, and started college early through the dual enrollment program. She graduated from UTPA before earning her degree from the University of Texas School of Dentistry in Houston. Now she is Dr. Renteria, creating beautiful smiles at Professional Dental Group. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Dr. Clarissa Renteria, WISD was the right choice.
And we do go to the bottom of the 7th. And we're back to the top of the order. Chris Caceres is up. Shortstop, number 9. And led off the game with a single and scored on that big 6-run first inning. Also has been hit by a pitch tonight, so he's been on base. And let's see if starting off at the top of the order leads to some sort of rally. 1-1 the count. Again, I want to thank my crew tonight for doing a great job as always. And that is going to be a grounder out. Second to first, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Of course, we got Vinny Berry handling all the pictures you see tonight, our videographer. Doing a great job for the last several hours, making sure that catching all the action for you. And assisting him tonight, Adrian De Leon. And he is our on-site producer. Appreciate the work he does. And of course, everybody with the K-West staff, led by Carlos Roblato, our chief. And of course, a gentleman I deal with every week, coming up with the schedule for what I'm going to be doing. Mike Palacios, he is our chief videographer. And then, of course, the K-West secretary, Mina Garcia, who makes sure we have all our paperwork, such as our rosters and things like that. So, want to thank them all for this opportunity to help out K-West during baseball. I've done football for several years, but it's fun having a chance now to do some basketball first and now some softball and baseball. And we've seen different games. Some have been close, some not so close, but it's always fun to be out at the ballpark. Like I said, I grew up going to Wrigley Field a lot as a child in Chicago, and I've always kept my love for the game. They call it the national pastime, don't they? 2-2 is the count. Again, 1 out. We are in the 7th. Stone Gomez at the plate, starting pitcher tonight. Again, we talked about it earlier. Thought he did a credible job. Believe this is his first start. Just a freshman, but I'm sure he learned a lot from it. And he had some really good moments. 3-2, full count. You know they'll never give up. When you've got a coach that's been around for 23 years, you know he's not going to let his team ever let up. And there you go, ball 4. We're talking about, of course, Eddie Cerna. Aaron Thomas now up. Let's see what he can do. Fouled away. Thought about maybe even bunting. Who knows? Hit by the pitch. So 2 runners on. We always say you got to start somewhere. Izzy DeLeon, who's had a good night. Several hits. Again, quite a scoring barrage for Harlingen in the later innings. That's popped up. Catcher has the beat on it, and that is going to be the second out of the inning. Harlingen with 4 runs in the 5th, 6 in the 6th, and 8 in the 7th. So in the last 3 innings, they have scored 18 runs, and just some really clutch hitting, obviously, later in the game. And as things start winding down here, possibly, we want to say Weslaco loses tonight, they will drop to 9-6 overall so far, and 5-3 in district. Harlingen, they'll go to 14-5 and 8-0 in district, and that is the 3rd out. And so the final score here from Weslaco is going to be 21-8, Harlingen over the Weslaco Panthers in 32-6A action. And for Adrian DeLeon and Vinny Berry, my K-West crew tonight, I'm Scott Harrison, wishing you a very good and safe evening, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Goodbye, everybody. This has been a K-West production.